So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out to the Mesofilter press conference. Concerns about our air and water rise every day, and as recently as last Friday, CBS reported that coal-burning utilities have discovered groundwater contamination and landfills and man-made ponds near these facilities that are decades old. They typically contain heightened levels of arsenic and radium and are located in states ranging from Alaska to Virginia. Today, Mesofilter will announce a new solution that enables facilities such as these to filter contaminated water and air at a fraction of the cost of previous solutions, and with a greater effectiveness. At the same time, it is also affordable and easy for consumers to protect themselves against dangerous water contamination. Whether they live in an area of heavy contamination like Bangladesh, or lose access to clean water due to a disaster like Hurricane Irma, everyone deserves access to clean, safe drinking water. Dong, Mesofilter's founder and CEO and chief scientist, will provide more information on the pollution problems of today and announce our new solution to give you a demo of how it works. We also have a great lineup of speakers, which includes Stefan Buck, the filtration unit manager at NSF International, who will discuss NSF's certification process and how it evaluated Mesopaper. Several Mesofilter products have already been received NSF certification, as well as multiple patents. Dr. Elizabeth Sun, assistant professor in environmental science at the University of San Francisco, and Dr. Boris Febashenko, staff scientist for Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, who will share an in-depth detail on the scope of water and air pollution issues that Mesopaper helps to address. And of course, we'll leave ample time for questions. And with that, I'd like to introduce Dong, Mesofilter's founder, CEO, and chief scientist.
Thank you for everyone coming, and today I'm very glad to share some story about my R&D. So this is a very long journey. It took me about 15 years. I think everyone already read this news about uranium and radioactive pollutions in American waters. And I'm very glad Dr. Boris come today for talking about the uranium. So I just let everyone know that we developed this technology is not only just for the developing country. We can also have for the United States. This project was started from 2003 when I was a junior researcher in the University of Hawaii. I got an EPA project and working on the arsenic filtration. Arsenic usually they call it heavy metal, but this is not a heavy metal. It's not a metal. It's like a heavy metal, but not. It's very difficult to filtration. But unfortunately, it has a lot of distribution in the world. It's about 200 million in the world. And in that time, I developed the first generation technology, was called micronose technology. And I spent 3 years on my project, and we want to get some breakthrough technology. Unfortunately, in the almost last day, I cannot get the breakthrough, I was so frustrated and closed this project and were very angry and smashed all my stuff and working on other try to clean up. But later on, when I get home, my nose was full of those kind of dust. And then we get the idea. Man, the human nose is kind of like one of the best filters for this technology. I mean, in the world we can see it. So I get the idea that the human nose on the ceramic, and then we get the first generation product. But this product, I quit my job from University of Hawaii and go to industry, and then get the industry application, and bring this first technology went to Bangladesh with several people. They sent a big team with me, and then we go there for the field test, and also for the field education. And in that time, the local security is not that good. These have to send a bodyguard, and we have to buy big money for the big cost for the personal, insurance. At the end of that trip, Chevron manager asked me whether you guys can develop another new technology or new product without the field education. Make it simple enough. No need for the education. It's for everyone can use it. So I keep this one in mind, and then we developed this one. We call it Mesopaper. That's why today we talk about it. Actually, the Mesopaper is integrated with two layers of natural cellular fibers, and in the middle we call that's mesoceramics. Why we call it meso? Meso means 1 nanometer to 50 nanometer. I found the right size for the filtration is 40 nanometer to 50 nanometer. If it is too big, you cannot get a good filtration result. If it is too small, you need high pressure. You need high energy cost. So this is our technology product, and you see that the granule, the powder, and also the pitcher. Last year we get Mesofilter certified, and this so far in the market is the only one pitcher system can remove arsenic. This is how we talk about the human nose. Inside. In a small granule, get 1,000 of small holes. Every hole gets those kind of like nose size. And you can see it inside. You get some hair. This hair is 0 volume iron, so the iron hair can immobilize the arsenic and lead. And also, when we filter this bacteria. This idea is, I get this idea is from my fishing. This is got, if you get fishing in the ocean, you get one hook, it's difficult to get. If you create 1 million, it's good enough to hook the bacteria. If you put billions of hooks, and it's easy to capture the bacteria. And for the virus, when the virus passes through the meso holes, all the hair, the needle, will cut the protection shell of the protein. And then the DNA and RNA of the virus will be destroyed. Here is the SEM of the Mesopapers, methotronic powder. Then this is unused. After using it, all the holes, the channel was blocked, and then the paper will pass through. And the good news is that when the arsenic gets inside, it will be sealed, so it cannot be leached back until you fire them to over 1,000 centigrade. So this is a very simple. And many technology we're talking about, many ideas. We talking about like a sprayer, nano, and all kind of ideas. But I'm very glad we have those technology with the cooperation with our partner in Boston, our manufacturer partner. And then we get this one industrialized, as in the industrialized scale. And that's a very, I'm very proud of for this 2 years development. And for the application, this can use minor application for the industry. And for the good news is no wastewater, no waste sludge. It's simply a process. So that saves at least 80% of the cost. And for this technology, I'm very those new ideas and new technology every day is we talking about it in Silicon Valley, also all over the world. But very frankly, minor technology cannot be industrialized, and also minor technology may not for real. So we decided we spend our time, our effort, work with NSF International to get this product completely tested and certified. So that's my very brief of the technology development.
And so we'll Don gets set up here, but he's going to give a brief demonstration of the power of Mesopaper and how it works. And so he's going to pop up here, and he's got another microphone he'll turn on. We'll get this going.
So the Mesopaper is kind of very easy to use, and we try to minimize all the package cost. And unfortunately, the package cost is more than the product cost. So that's my heading too. And I'm going to show you what this is from a rusted pipeline. The water get iron, get lead, and also some soil. This is just this simple, easy. And this is from rainwater we get from our parking lot. You can see this how early, for example, last year, the Houston flooding, and then after the flooding, got 2 months of no water, clean water. So this one is good for the emergency when you get a flooding, and then you can put the water. So this water just get some air inside. If you get some small hole, there will be no water. Usually it's goes fast. The water is ready to drink. When you get the water so dirty, it's kind of So that's tell you a very interesting story. Actually, our company is a material company. We are not developing any product. When we're talking with NSF experts like Stephen and Mike, then we thought everyone want to put this filter to a device, a plastic. I said, no, we don't want to do that. We just want this paper serve standing and then to drink. Especially this is good for the emergency. For example, you get an earthquake, so you cannot find any filter. You just using paper, maybe you can just get water and then save your life. That's the idea. And we would like to develop, work with the industries together to provide the key material for the industry and let them develop new product for the end users. That's the filtration. So to save the time, I think let this one running and then let Mr. Stephen talk.
Great. So I'd now like to invite Stefan Buck up here from NSF International. And he'll talk a little bit through who NSF is and kind of the process that Mesopaper went through to get their certifications.
Good afternoon. Thank you, first of all, for the invitation to come to speak today. It is an honor to be here in order to help present this new Mesopaper to the industry. My name is Stefan Buck, Business Unit Manager of the Global Filtration Division of NSF International. And I just wanted to go through a few slides to indicate, we'll tell you about who we are a little bit, and then also about this new product that is being certified today. NSF International is a global independent public health and safety organization. Our sole mission is to protect and improve human health. We do this through a variety of means. One of the most common things that we do is we help to develop and maintain consensus standards for the industry. We do this in a number of fields, including drinking water, food safety, also with environmental safety, consumer products as well. We also test products for certification to these standards, certify them. We audit them annually. Part of the importance of the NSF certification is that the manufacturer is audited so that we ensure that all the materials used are consistently being used every year and that nothing is being changed to ensure that the safety of the product is always paramount. We also provide consulting and also some training services. NSF International was founded in 1944 in the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor in the United States. It was founded for the need to provide standards for restaurant and food safety during the 40s. And from then it has developed into the number of industries and standards we have today. NSF's experience in the water industry now is over 40 years. We are the trusted source for certification for drinking water products. As the developer and maintenance of these standards, it's important to note that NSF is not the only experience that is being put into these standards. We provide input to the standards in their development, but we also receive input from manufacturers in the industry and from regulatory agencies such as the EPA, the FDA, Health Canada, WHO. And in addition, there are consultants that are part of the maintenance of these standards as well to ensure that they are fair across the board for industry and that they continuously protect human health in their performance. Today, NSF operates in more than has more than 60 offices that operates in more than 170 countries. We're a global organization providing our services internationally in order to maintain the standards that we would like to maintain. We are a collaborating facility with WHO and work with them on a number of drinking water regulatory schemes as well in order to provide testing services for disaster relief products as well. And we continuously maintain good relationships with regulatory agencies in order to be up to date with the newest levels, toxicological levels of contaminants in order to develop those health safety levels. Our headquarters are in Michigan in the United States, and we are based here, but we do have offices, as you can see, across the world. The experience that NSF brings in their certification is vast. We have over 290,000 square foot of lab space. This means that we test every single product that gets certified in NSF. This is a very important feature for consumers so they can have the confidence in knowing that the products they're buying are safe to use, abide by the standard, and have actually been tested to demonstrate that safety. We also have more than 2,100 experienced professionals globally in order to continue the maintenance of these standards and to continue the certification of these products and ensure that we are pushing forward our mission of protecting human health. We also, as a trusted source as a laboratory, as a certification agency, are able to certify products to a number of different schemes across the world, not only the NSF standard, but we can also certify the Canadian standards, the RAS standards in Europe, and in China as well as CNAS, and assisting in the MOH approval. The drinking water filtration group at NSF is a vast group, and we are an important group as we provide the certification for the products that consumers use on a daily basis. It is important to note that these standards are voluntary. There is no requirement for any manufacturer to come to NSF to get the certification. But the importance of the NSF certification shows that the manufacturer values and is proud of the integrity of the product and that there's quality associated with it. Products are tested for material safety to ensure that no contaminants are leached into the drinking water. We test them for their performance as well. So with the Mesopaper product that we're seeing today, these were tested in the NSF laboratories for the reduction of lead and for pentavalent arsenic, two of the heavy metals that are associated with our NSF standard 53, which are health-related performance criteria. With the NSF drinking water treatment unit standards cover a number of products as well. As you can see, we have standards for almost every single product on the market, including UV units, faucet mount systems. The Mesopaper product type falls under the standard 53 because it focuses specifically on the health-related claims associated with it. We test all types of products associated with drinking water treatment systems, from the filter paper that you see here to complete large systems used in municipal use as well. Again, I should stress the importance of the NSF mark is as you can see here. It provides consumers with the confidence knowing that the product they're using is safe to use and will perform the way they are expecting to perform. In the case of the Mesopaper, we know for sure that it has reduced lead and pentavalent arsenic in accordance to a standard developed by a number of individuals with tremendous years of experience. It also provides the manufacturers with the confidence that the product is performing the way they are expecting it to perform. With the annual audits that we perform, we ensure that the materials stay the same and that the materials will constantly be safe to use. A certification to standard 53 shows that the Mesopaper conforms to all material safety levels for drinking water, and its ability to reduce both lead and pentavalent arsenic is verified through our very specific and very stringent laboratory testing. So we're very proud and very happy to be able to be part of this press conference and to allow the NSF mark to be placed on this product for use moving forward. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. So next I'd like to invite Dr. Elizabeth Sun up here. She's going to talk about lead. in the water, drinking water.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth Sung. I work at University of San Francisco and Environment Science Department as assistant professor. And I'm glad here to talk about something in your drinking water. So, my topic today is dare to drink your tap water. And we just saw Mr. Dong drink water from this bottle and from this bottle. And we all saw that. So, my question is, when you fill up a glass of water from your tap water, and how much confidence do you have? Do you feel safe when you drink it? Do you feel confident when you give to your baby and used to mix up with the formula? And I have a question for you guys. So who drink water directly from your tap water, from your faucet? Please raise your hand. Okay, you guys are pretty brave. But actually we all do. And when you go to a restaurant and before you order anything, they will bring you a tap water and you drink it. And if you don't want to pay extra, you drink the tap water. And I'm kind of suspicious, and I have 2 kids, and my daughter is 8 years old, my son is 4 years old. So I'm always very concerned about the water I'm drinking, and especially the lab. Oh, okay, I can use this. So right now we really have this tool. It's very good, and if you go to you call it EWG's tap water database, and if you enter your zip code, and you can find out what is really in your tap water. What is there? And so, who is EWG? They actually is non-profit organizations, and the data they have is not they tested by themselves. I believe they collect the data from the state agency and the EPA. So the data is from EPA and from the authoritative agencies. They just make it so available to us and so convenient to check it. And when you not sure about your water. So as mother of 2 kids, so I was really concerned about that. And so that is what I did. So I live in Fremont. My zip code is 94529. So I checked the line in the water. And the first one, this is what I got. It says 90% of the lab samples collected by this utility measured below 8.1 ppt. So what exactly that means? And what is 90%? I'm not sure if my tap water is in this 90% or 10%. So, but with this one, and I checked the federal lead and copper rules. It says if 90% of the household sample must have less than 15 ppb lead. So which means if my my community have this one, 90% is below than 8.1 ppt, which means it follows the federal rules. And so, which means they will not do anything. The government would not do anything because it follows the rules. But if you look at the California standards, California Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment set a public health goal. The level for lead is 0.2 ppb. So which means even in this 90%, and the lead is still too much, right? And recently, 2017, there is an analysis by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and found out if you give your baby a formula and the water, use the water and more than 3.7 ppb to mix up the formula, and it has a risk of elevated blood lead levels. And that is what you don't want to do, right? And so how much lead is too much in your drinking water? And if you look at the history, it tells you, and the Asian, so even the Asian Romans, they know lead can cause madness and death in the Middle Ages. And the lead is actually used as a poison by many Frenchies and French people. They doesn't call it a poison. They darkly refer to it as, who knows how to read this in French? Can you read it? Wow. So yeah, it's success ponder means you will go to the next laugh. So which means it will end your laugh. And so from the modern medicine and from the modern history, and we know, and lead is really a powerful toxin. And even at a very low level, it can really damage your brain development, and especially for the baby and infant and young kids. So the lead actually targeted two places. One is your brain, another one is kidney. And for the adults, for us, if sometimes you feel headache for no reasons, or you feel irritated, and sometimes maybe you have a very aggressive behavior, and you have trouble sleeping, and maybe you are poisoned by the lead, and you just don't know. And sometimes you have your belly pain, and you have a bad appetite. You just don't want to eat, and you have constipations. That probably something wrong with your kidney. And this is all the symptoms for the adults. For kids, it's even more serious. And we all know it's affects the developing nerves and brains, and they can lose the development skills. And some kids have the behavior and the attention problem, and they just couldn't concentrate. And some even worse have the hearing loss, or maybe have the kidney damage, and the IQ is reduced. And so their body growth is become slower. So this is something you don't want to happen to your own children. But this is not happen like one day. It's like after a long time exposure to the lead, and with the drinking water, you do have this risk. You drink the water, you use the water cooking, and every day. So how I'm supposed to know if my drinking water, my tap water has lead in it? And it's a big question for all parents. And so first you can learn more about the water. What kind of water is coming to your house? And so actually you can get you call consumer confidence report, and which is released every year, July 1st. You can get this report from your community water system. So you have a right to access to this report and see what kind of water get into your house. And the second thing, and especially you test your tap water. And the the cost is not very high. It's around $20 to $100, and you better for some other like very with authority, and they have the lab equipment to do all this. But also, I think you can purchase some lab, you call lab kit, and to test it in your own water. So where all this lab come from? And I have to say the lab situation is really individual situation. Depend on where do you live, and what kind of house do you live, and when did your house was built. And if your house was built before 1968, it's better you test your tap water. And when you have younger kids in the home, somebody in your home is pregnant, you better test it. And so if you look at the source for the lab, this is your house, and there's actually many different ways the lab can get into your water. And even from this, and even you have the copper pipe, but you have the lead sodas, and maybe you have this pipe have their lab service line, and even the faucet is fixture is inside. There's a lab inlet. So I just want to tell you the problem here is actually you don't know, especially your house is old. You bought from other people, and maybe the type is already eroded, and you just don't know. The first one, this one is the lead pad, and before 1968 in the United States, and that is all water pipe we use, this lead pipe. And the second one is eroded pipe, and the third one is steel pipe, and it's a lead pad, but covered with some coating there. So it doesn't matter what kind of pipe you have, and if it's after many years, nobody really check it out, and your pipe maybe look like this, and so it's eroded, and so you really need to take care of it. So for somebody, and if you just don't want to test, you're getting too lazy to test your tap water, you've got a million of things to do, and you just don't have this on your list. I would like to give you some tips, and to make sure you have some water, and without lead maybe. And so always when you are drinking or cooking or make a baby formula, you always use cold water, not the hot water. And when we turn on the faucet, and one way you can get the hot water, and another way is the cold water. The hot water easily to erode the pipeline, so just use the cold water. And also, as a Chinese, we like to boil our water. We think it's safer, but it doesn't. It doesn't remove any lead from your water if you boil it in the water. So it doesn't matter if you boil your water or not. And also maybe you can regularly check your faucet screen and check it, and so clean it up. And of course you can think about use a water filter and to just take out the lead and the Mesopaper. And so every time before you drink your tap water, you can flush your pipe by running your tap water. And somebody said, wow, this is really wasting water, and the water is such a precious resource. We don't want waste water. But you can do, maybe you can just take a shower first. Or in the morning before you drink your first cup of water, you take a shower, or you maybe not doing your laundry, but doing something else, like the water running for a while, and just flush your pipes. and so it can be a little bit safer. And just some tips for you, just for your safety of the drinking water. So, I just checked my the 3-month water system. I found it's more than lead was inlaid, and I found there's it says 3 contaminants detected above the house guidelines, 3 of them, and I checked it, and they're chloride, chromium, but this is a 6, chromium 6, and it can cause cancer. And there are also radiological contaminants, and also can cause cancer. And this too really freaked me out. And further, so I checked again about the chromium 6, and I found out this map. This is in Santa Cruz County, and so if you look at this here, I don't know if you can see it clearly. This says the average, the county-wide status. It says the average is 4 to 20 ppb, and the range is from ND means 0 to 35 ppb. Well, the California public health goal is only 0.02 ppb. So it's really a great risk, and when you drink your tap water. And so what if your water has chromium 6? What is the effect? And you will see, and you probably can get lung cancer, or you can get your liver damaged. And you probably will have reproductive problems and developmental harm to your brain. So this is some serious consequences, and really I don't want to say it. And also, if we go back to the results, and it has the radiological contaminants, and also about the health guidelines, and which can cause cancers. This is really scary. Okay. I see a lot of scary things, but just keep calm, and if you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So next I'd like to invite Dr. Boris Zhevchenko up here. He's from the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. We're giving him a hand.
Thank you for your invitation to participate in this event. So I'm Boris Zhevchenko of Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, and I work in Energy Geosciences Division, Environmental and Energy Sciences area of LBL. So I've been involved in contaminant transport studies for many years. So today I will be talking about uranium in drinking water, which is a worldwide problem, about sources of contamination, health problems, and some removal methods. So uranium is widespread in nature, occurring in granites and various other mineral deposits. So natural uranium consists almost composed entirely of uranium isotope 238, 238, with a very small amount of two other uranium isotopes, 235 and 234. And all of them decay by both alpha and gamma emissions. Uranium enters local water, air, and food supplies in varying concentration through different pathways. From leaching of natural deposits, releases in mill tailings, dissolution of fertilizers, nitrate and phosphate used in fertilizers, and also emissions from nuclear industry and combustion of coal and other fields. But I will show you today some examples of leaching from natural deposits and releases from mill tailings, and a little bit about the effect of using different fertilizers. So in groundwater, wells, elevated levels of uranium appear in granite deposits and in alkaline sandstone and shale bedrock. So, and on every my slide, I have a reference to the public information given on the internet, so I would like to refer to already published materials. So, first of all, I would like to indicate that the potential health effect from uranium in drinking water come from its chemical toxicity and not its radioactivity, which is very low. And uranium compounds are filtered by kidneys, and that's why kidney injury is the most sensitive and point for uranium in drinking water. Uranium production over the world is continuously increasing. And based on data of International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, who analyzed the uranium supply until the year 2050, you can see a continuous increase in uranium production around the world. And the largest production of uranium in Canada, Kazakhstan, Australia, and so it is a huge problem. For example, I recently visited several countries in Central Asia, and I observed a health effect of radioactive contamination of water. Uranium contamination is also widespread in the US, and this is the map of the United States showing the concentration of uranium. This is color for uranium, and this is color of nitrate. And this nitrate mostly comes from agricultural areas of using fertilizers. So two major aquifers, Central Valley Aquifer in California and High Plains in the central US are areas with significant uranium concentration in groundwater. Another radioactive element is radium, but radium is a naturally occurring radioactive material that forms when uranium decays in the environment, and it is present in soil, rocks, water, plants, and animals, generally in low concentrations. In 2003, EPA established the drinking MCL maximum contaminant level for radium, 5 picocurie per liter. And the health effect of radium are mostly associated with its ionizing radiation, which is the difference from chemical toxicity of uranium. of radium over a long period of time may lead to an increased risk of cancer and other serious health problem in people. So here is just one slide, just some kind of duplication what Elizabeth showed, that environmental working group, non-profit organization, developed a database of contaminants detected in tap water, and by entering your zip code, you can determine whether radioactive elements are present in your tap water. It is, I believe, is a very useful, practical tool for many people. For example, they also provide a map of the US, and by clicking on the area of your state, and then you will see subdivision by even counties or water supply utility companies. I will show several photographs and maps. One of them is uranium in spring water north of Grand Canyon National Park is likely not related to nearby mining activity. Why I am showing that, for example, the mine itself is located here and the spring is in this area. So it is not necessary that increased concentration was caused by current operations of the mine, but it was naturally present in this area. So we need to clearly distinguish the source of radioactive elements, whether it is anthropogenic activity or it is a natural process. Here is the map of Central Valley, showing many wells. All those points on the map are groundwater wells from which water was collected and analyzed. Here in yellow color shown well locations with concentrations more than 30 ppb, which is MCL, maximum contaminant level, recommended by EPA for drinking water. So you see quite a significant number of wells with concentrations exceeding MCL. So here is the Modesta County, and now I show the map of Modesta County. You see these wells, water was collected to assess the concentration of uranium during the year. And it was found that, that uranium concentration was higher in younger groundwater and also associated with increased nitrate concentrations, which indicates that at this place, the source of uranium is associated with increased nitrate concentrations. And it is, again, much higher during the summer time, where much more significant withdrawal of water from the aquifer for the agricultural purposes. Then, about anthropogenic human activity caused uranium. This is a map of the Hanford Reservation, so-called Hanford Site 300, which is located along the Columbia River in Washington state. And this is the site of very high uranium concentration in groundwater caused by some activities. Uranium is, this is the map in Florida, a map of the Tampa Bay showing the elevated concentration of water samples collected in Tampa Bay, indicating that we have increased concentration of uranium not only in groundwater but also in surface water. It is important to collect uranium samples from soils. So the mine is here located, and this is a finite uranium mine, and collecting samples of soils give the distribution of uranium around mines, which is important for agriculture, knowing the concentrations in food overall, and then here is an example of publication by Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations, which also keep track of radioactive contamination in food. And several photographs from my trip to Central Asia. These are photographs of uranium tailings. So this is the area of uranium tailings, and due to surface runoff and erosion, uranium with soil particles are going to rivers, and then people are simply using this water for water supply. So this is another example. So you see this huge uranium tailings and erosion, and water is going by surface runoff into the river and then to the people. It is important, for example, here again, one more photograph. This is covered uranium tailings. Some uranium tailings are covered, but they, there is infiltration of water through those uranium tailing covers. So water precipitation is going through the cover into the tailing, and then it's going through groundwater into the river. So this is the flow path of water around uranium tailings. And my last slide about the application of nanotechnologies. And US EPA recommended using zero-valent iron particles for remediation. Nanotechnology is rapidly growing field, rapidly growing technology, so nanoparticles have dimensions from 1 to 100 nanomicrons, and they are characterized by enhanced reactivity and large surface area, which speeds up sorption processes. And so EPA recently published the survey of 26 sites using nanotechnology for remediation. And this is a technology that Mesofilter is trying to implement in a different way in these filters which you see demonstrated today. Thank you.
Perfect. So I'd just like to invite Dong back up here, and we can open the floor to any questions that anybody may have. And yeah, so if Dong, if you can come back up, and we can, if anybody has any questions, just go ahead and raise your hand, and we can come around with the microphone and feel free to ask. Yes.
Any competitor product in the market right now besides uranium one?
This one? Actually, you can see competitors kind of like with for the lab filter. That's not different story. Lab filters is very professional. You may see some talking about silver paper. If you use a silver paper in some case, the problem is the EPA won't approve it. So currently there is little competitors about this material. If you use silver in the paper or this stuff, first like Mr. Stephen Bach talked about, first they need to take care whether the liver is the silver. the silver leach back to the water. That's why we cause the secondary problem. So when we actually, I was working on this paper in 2012 for this paper using silver technology, nanoparticle. But that's just for air filtration, not for drinking water. So that's you may see some silver paper, but they cannot get the EPA permission.
How much for each paper?
Currently, we get a 6 pH for $16.99.
So $1 one piece.
Less than 99 cents. And the big problem is right now is that the package, the package is more expensive than paper. So when we get a large production, we get big scale up, we will dramatically down the price. That's it's not just a promise as we going to scale up with the big industry. Then we can dramatically down to cents, like even less than 20 cents, or even less than 10 cents. That's our goal for that.
So are you currently sell online or on the big store, box, or where?
Oh, we just sell online, for the emergency. You can find Amazon.com. And actually, we are material company. We would like to work with a lot of industry. I'm very glad today these several industry guests come from China, from Asia, and also from Bay Area, and they were going to develop end product. We just provide the key technology. And today we use this paper just to show the capacity, how simple it is. So no plastic, no electric, no chemical. That's the way we.
So this is only for water, not for air.
The air we have another product similar like this.
Do you have one here for air?
We don't have this one here because this one the air is similar like this paper, but a little bit thinner. Another question? So this is from the rusted pump water. The water is kind of
But the other one is kind of dirty too, right?
yeah. This one is a strange.
The other one, the other bottle.
Which one?
Yeah, this one. Can you drink that one?
Which one?
The one from the cup, the first cup. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
This is
empty.
Yeah, can you drink that one?
It's already empty.
Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like a dirty inside.
No, no water at all. So we did billions of time. That's why we try to make the simplest solution for the emergency.
But I still doesn't recommend to drink that one because it's not disinfected, so you still get chance to get sick. Although
This one?
No, both.
Yeah, this one from drinking water. Then we get it from the hospital.
Yeah, it looks clean, but as you reminded me.
That one, the test is not as good as this pack. It's a kind of problem. That's just for emergency. We're not recommending you to get water or something. Because when you get an earthquake, especially in California, we talk a lot about earthquake. It's a big chance.
Yeah, I believe you claim that your filter can kill bacteria, right?
It's inactive bacteria.
So it has some biocidal properties.
What?
Has some biocidal properties, like inactive, you just mentioned.
The active, this is similar like I show in the pictures. It have billions of hooks to hook the bacteria. When the virus passes through, the needle like our human nose hair inside, the nanoparticle. Almost every virus get a protein shell. they get a protein share for the protection for the RNA and DNA. When the share was broken, the RNA and the DNA quickly will be destroyed, and then the virus will be disinfected. That's the mechanism. We get a lot of pictures in my computer, and we're going to publish those pictures.
Okay, I have another question. So, I'm thinking about like earthquake situation, or you're stuck in the mountain somewhere, so there's no water, right? So the immediate things you can pee inside here. Have you tested pee?
No, that's not right. The Mesofilter is just for heavy metal, arsenic, bacteria, but not good for light metal. Not for salt. For example, you get a seawater, you get a hard salt, they will not. The Mesofilter is not good for them.
So maybe it's not work for the earthquake situation, right? Because you're stuck somewhere, no water source.
Yeah, that's another situation. For example, if you usually like flooding, like last year we were doing in Houston. After flooding, actually even the pipeline will take about 2 months to get the water back up. That's the way. Okay.
Thank you. I think one thing to note for as far as earthquakes go is it's more to say is that if you don't have access to clean drinking water, you can use puddle water, you can use whatever kind of water that you can find and purify that. So it's for if you have access to water that's just not clean. Well, thank you. This will conclude our press conference here. And so feel free to, there's coffee, water, tea in the back, and feel free to come and ask any questions that you may have. Thank you.
pH 值是11的，11点几。
浓度很高，比加的实在是。